Hey everyone, welcome back to the Outpost. As you can see, my good friend, paramedic slash mechanic slash do-it-yourself slash good buddy. Oh yeah, by the way, we've got this in subtitles for the young lady that said that she was glad that we had those because she could understand every word that my good friend had to say. Now, we don't hold anything against him because he's from Alabama, you know, but he does have that Alabama accent. Oh, hey.
I have my own accent,
hey.
Not Alabama.
The mechanic and the doctor, they're talking, right? And the mechanic and the doctor, they're good friends, and they're hanging out when the mechanic says, you know, our jobs are similar. Said we both have to study symptoms, run diagnostics, and repair and replace faulty parts. The doctor nods in agreement. He says, so why do you make so much more than us? And the doctor smiles and he says, well, when was the last time that you had to replace a valve through a tailpipe in an engine running? we can understand that being a paramedic, can't we?
Oh yeah.
Because there's a lot of times in the back of that ambulance that we've got our foot on the monitor, we're starting an IV over here, and we're bagging at the same time, right?
Yeah, that's right.
I mean, it's messed up sometimes, guys, because a lot of the calls are bad, but we do what we can. Anyway, so this Husqvarna power washer, yeah, had a little bit of a problem. It would run about 5 minutes and it would stop. Well, the last time when we took that out, it was the needle valve that was screwed up, wasn't it?
It's this float valve. Float valve got stuck in it, and that was causing it to restrict the fuel flow. That's why it would only run like 5 minutes and then shut off. So I went to the local mechanic, and he said that it was going to cost about $28 just for the float valve. So I went online and ordered a brand new carburetor for $32. That included shipping. It was easier to go this way. No doubt.
We can keep this one for other parts, can't we?
That's great.
Anyway, so what we're going to do is we're going to replace that and hope that that's what the problem was. So anyway, all right. Well, I'm going to let you get at it. And
he's hoping, and I know.
Okay. Yeah, and for that other guy that said, yeah, Chad to the rescue, I mean, he came up, the only thing he forgot was his cape on the back there.
All right, let me get the screwdriver here. Make sure we get everything hooked up. The little spring. Move that down to the ground. Okay, now we got the throttle linkage reconnected, and we got the carburetor put back on. We got the bolts snugged down, so it's not getting any air in between. Make sure you get the gasket in between the carburetor and the housing there. And then we're going to reconnect the fuel lines and make sure the clamp is back down in place. That's what happens when you come prepared. Should I say unprepared? And as always, you got to have a sip of coffee while you're working.
Okay. Turn this on.
Go ahead and turn the gas on, and it'll start filling up that bowl.
And what?
It'll start filling up the bowl.
I don't remember, did we drain it?
No, we just shut the fuel off.
Okay.
Just open it a little bit.
You checked the oil on it, and it had oil was
It had good oil.
It hadn't
Nice
been used
and
that
clear.
much. You can tell it don't even hardly have any scratches on it.
So while this is filling up, the bowl here, we'll take and set it down over here in front of the water and hook the water up.
Okay. Alright, I'm turning that on.
Gas before. Now you got plenty of gas.
Okay, so what we're going to have to do, we've got the hoses hooked up to the water barrel, and I've got my washer hose hooked up there. So I'm going to have to crank this engine up so that it supplies water to this, because you don't want to run this engine without water
To the pump.
to the pump. Okay.
Otherwise you'll burn your pump up. The relief valve is not opening like it should.
What we figured out the problem, the engine's running fine now. As long as we hold the hose pressure open, the engine will sit there and run, and it will spray water. So we know that the pump's working. But when we let off on it, it doesn't recirculate water. There's something stuck in there, and what it will do is it will drag the engine down to make it stop. So we're going to take this water pump off, take it apart, and see if we can see anything that's corroded in there, because this blue stuff that's in here, I don't know what it is, but it had everything corroded down here. So there's a possibility there may be something on the inside that's done that way too. So you said this is your first time on taking a water
This is
pump
the first
off?
time taking a water pump apart. So, always the first time for everything. A learning experience.
So what we did was we took that water pump all apart, took all the bolts out, and worked on redoing it, and scrubbed off anything that looked like it may have had a buildup on it, and then we also oiled everything up as we went back through the screen. Look at that.
Mm-hmm.
We don't really know what we did that fixed it. Like I said, we just took this, what do you call that, a baffle?
That's the pump. That's it.
I thought this
Where
was, this was the pump.
That's all one piece, but it's where it builds, it creates the pressure in here. That's where the intake is and everything.
Okay, well anyway, you got the water coming in and you got it coming out right here. There was a little was a few springs in there. There was a little
ball valve.
A little ball valve. There was a little bit of corrosion on some different things, and we just wire brushed it all off and everything. But I guess one of the bottom, what do you call these things right here?
It's just a cap.
One of the bottom caps was the thread portion was kind of corroded down into the thread. Could have been a piece of that that got floating around in there and got something stuck. But anyway, we took it all apart. Like I said, wire brushed it off. Took that WD-40, kind of slicked everything back as we put it in, and just basically put it back together. And there you go. So now it will run and it recirculates. It frees itself up to recirculate when we don't have the wand pressure on it. So anyway, you know, it's really good to have friends who are mechanics, right?
Somewhat.
Somewhat. It's also good to have friends that you can ride around with when you're working as paramedics, because it makes it a whole lot more fun. And you know, I told him we were working up here on this outdoor kitchen. The last video that he was in, that he pretty much spent the day with me, you can go back and check it out. It's when we were hauling lumber for siding, right? We went and picked it up on the big trailer. And I told him, I said, I'll feed you. And what we had was bologna sandwiches. So I told him when we get this outdoor kitchen fixed that I'll do better than the bologna sandwiches. We'll put steaks or something on the grill.
Fried bologna sandwiches.
There you go, fried bologna sandwiches. But anyway, I can't tell you how much I appreciate, because this thing is almost really new. But this stuff in here, I think I need to take that out and actually just put soap in there. I don't know what that is, but it's caustic. Because it had everything down here all, you know, caked and corroded up. But yeah, I mean, this will be a really valuable tool up here, because I can keep my tractor clean. I can do a whole lot of things with this. This was given to the Outpost, and we really appreciate that. But it wasn't any good unless Chad come up and loved on it a little bit. Is there anything else we can find to work on here?
I think that's it.
Okay. Well, guys, I'm going to help him get his stuff loaded up. We really appreciate him coming up here and doing that. And we'll get up here and work some more on this fire pit today up here at the outdoor kitchen. Well, I guess you can see now why I use screws, because it does make tearing it apart a little bit easier. If it was nails, then it would be kind of rough to bend those nails and get the boards off. The only trouble I had was the inner portion right here, because the screws were actually in together. But yeah, I mean, it turned out really nice. A little bit low in this corner right here and this corner right here, but what I'm fixing to do is take this rock here, I'm going to wet this down, and I'm going to finish the outside of it, so it'll be a whole lot nicer when I get it done. What I do is I just basically wet the concrete, and then I'll take this and rub the outside of it. Okay, as you can see right here, what I did was I went all the way around this, rubbing it with the stone and just kind of wetting the concrete. When this dries, it will all blend in together, and anywhere that I had a joint, it'll pretty much look the same. So, I mean, I didn't have to, it's only a fire pit, but it does dress it up a little. Well, the next step is to get some fire brick. I'm going to stand it up on each side, lay it in the bottom, and I'll probably stand some up in here. That way, because my boards were 1 inch thick, so that will build it back up to about a 4-inch square. That way, when I stuff wood down in here, it'll be even more condensed to come up and hit the pot. Now I've got a plate that's being made that will actually sit down on top of here, and it will have a hole in the center of it about so big, but I spaced them a little bit wider apart than the hole. That way, once I set the plate up there, I can have more room to set something up there, like a pot or something. If I'd have put the bolts closer together, they would have actually been sticking up in the way. So that's the reason that I kind of made them a little bit wider. Well, guys, I'm all dusty now from working on this. We get hundreds and hundreds of comments, and certainly, you know, we love them all. And some of them, they kind of tickle me because they're like, well, you know, when are you going to get back to building the cabin? Well, I actually never stopped. Part of building is milling lumber, and what I'm doing is I'm milling some when I'm not working on this, and I'm stacking it up because I want to be able to mill up all my siding, all of my stick rafters, so that I can do the outside walls. I got all the floor joists done, but I want to be able to, once I start, just kind of start putting it all together. The next big step, though, is to lay the block up underneath that bottom beam from the footer up. I'll have to go around and do that before I can actually put the floor joists in. That way it will allow me to reach across and clean off the back of the wall, save a lot of mortar that would normally otherwise fall or just be hanging there, and you can save quite a bit, and it'll go a lot farther. But you know, the other thing too is, you know, I need a really nice place to cook. Sometimes when I come up here, you know, it's raining. In the summertime, I can't really cook inside the sawmill over that stove because you crank it up and it gets hot in there. So I figured if I went ahead and made this, I can cook on this fire pit, and you know, the wind will be blowing through here. It won't be the same as cooking inside there. Even though I can open the doors, it still gets hot in there because that thing does retain quite a bit of heat. But you know, this project here has been a lot more fun than the cabin because it is taking wood that's unconventional, you know, it's rounded, it's twisted and things, and putting it together. Of course, these floor joists, I mill those up to go, you know, straight, so that I have a straight flat surface to go on. But all the rest of these posts, they're crooked. You know, that's what makes this project here fun. But I also want to say that, you know, my main project is this whole homestead. It's not just the cabin. It's not just this. It's not just the base camp down there. I've got a barn that I want to build, so this whole homestead is the project. And I am continually working on that cabin. It's just behind the scenes, building up materials so that when I start, because there's a lot of it, then I'll be able to just keep going with it. This right here, I started it. I wanted to get it at least up to this point right here. That way I knew that I could come out here and I could cook. I could have a platform to stand on, and then I will work on the roofing in between.
anyway, I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up. We certainly really, you know, we appreciate all of our subscribers. We appreciate all your comments. Keep them coming. Hopefully we're answering them questions that you might have. And as a matter of fact, I'm going to be checking work, the workshops that I mentioned. I think I want to try to have maybe the one at the end of July, one at the end of August, and one at the end of September. So if you're interested in those, be thinking about those 3 different dates right there, what might be good for you, because I've already had several comments of people that would be interested in a workshop. Probably the next video or the one after that, as soon as I check the schedule at work and see what time I can get off, so I'll be throwing those dates out there. But we always really appreciate you guys stopping by, spending your time with us on what we've got going on up here. We hope everyone has a great afternoon. Take care, and we look forward to seeing you back up here at the Outpost next time.